Hi, it's Sylvester, and I just uploaded a video that was essentially a life update video wherein I talked about my anxiety. This video is going to be kind of similar to that video because this is yet another life update video wherein I'm going to be talking about my anxieties, but it's going to be more of a traditional life update because I'm going to actually talk about the specific things that have been going on that have been causing me to be super anxious. Now, the thing about having generalized anxiety disorder is that, and I mentioned this in the video I just uploaded, not all of my anxieties are necessarily rational, and there are a lot of things that I'm just anxious about in general, so I'm not going to list everything that is causing me to be anxious, because a lot of my anxiety is just like vague background anxiety, where it's like I'm not even entirely sure what it is I'm anxious about, I'm just kind of anxious. So, again, this isn't going to be a comprehensive list of all of the things that cause me anxiety, but I wanted to just kind of talk about some of the stuff that's going on in my life right now. I'm going to warn you that the things that are causing me anxiety are, generally speaking, quite mundane, because my life is generally quite mundane, and saying these things out loud, it's not going to sound like these things are that anxiety-inducing, but as somebody with generalized anxiety disorder, I get really anxious about stuff that other people might not get that anxious about. Like, I get overwhelmed super easily, and I'm just completely overwhelmed right now. And so I wanted to talk about that because talking about things helps me. I like sharing my feelings with the internet for some reason. Making videos is helpful for me in a lot of ways. So, anyways, yeah, enough justifying the fact that I'm making this video, and let's just actually get into the video. Now, one thing that is causing me anxiety at the moment is the fact that I'm making this video, which I know I just said that making videos helps me out, and talking about the things that make me anxious, I find that quite therapeutic. And that's why I'm making this video, because I want to talk through some of my anxieties, but I have things that I need to do today, and they're not super important things, but there's still things that I need to get done nonetheless, and I don't necessarily have time to be making this video, and I don't know how long this video is going to end up being. It's probably going to end up being like half an hour long, because I tend to ramble, so it's not helping. It's like it's helping that I'm making this video, but it's also not helping. It's also making me more anxious because, again, I have better things to do with my day than to sit down and make a video. But again, I like making videos, and sometimes we have to make sacrifices, sometimes we have to make time for the things that we love and enjoy doing, even if it doesn't feel like we have time to be doing those things. If I have to go to bed a little bit later tonight than usual, so be it. I've been going to bed relatively early recently, so it's not going to hurt if I don't get to bed until midnight, so, and I don't necessarily have to get up early tomorrow unless I want to go to church, which I haven't been to church in a while, which is another thing that's causing me a little bit of anxiety, because I know I should go to church. I'm not a particularly religious person, but I do like my minister and the people I go to church with, and they get kind of disappointed in me if I don't go to church. And again, I haven't been to church in a long time, so I feel like I should go to church, but I'm probably not going to. I just have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning, and if it's something that is not an obligation, if it's not something that I absolutely have to get out of bed for, then I will just hit the snooze button and continue sleeping. Like, I set my alarm nice and early every Sunday with the intention of going to church, but then every Sunday, without fail, I wake up, look at the time, say, I don't really feel like getting out of bed, and sleep in. So that's probably going to happen. Because of my depression, I do generally have a hard time getting out of bed already. And so again, if I don't absolutely have to get out of bed early, then I'm not going to do it And so, yeah, and I do understand my privilege. I am unemployed, and so I really do appreciate the fact that I'm able to sleep in. I know a lot of people have to get up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m. For me, getting up at 8 a.m. is like the worst. I try to be awake by 9 a.m. Church is at 10:30. Technically, I have enough time if I wake up at 9 to get ready for church, but I like to give myself a solid 2 hours to get ready in the morning because I'm really slow in the morning. It takes me a long time to get things done in the morning because I'm just so unmotivated in the mornings and so tired. And so, like I said, if I want to go to church tomorrow, I am going to have to get up at 8, and I really don't want to do that, so I'm probably going to sleep in until 9 or maybe 10, and then, no, I'm not going to be able to make it to church. So, yeah, that's a little bit anxiety inducing, but that's not what I wanted to talk about in this video. I had no intention of talking about going to church, but this is what I mean by I'm very rambly and I tend to go on tangents. Another thing that's causing me anxiety currently is the fact that I've had caffeine today. Caffeine is not helpful when you have an anxiety disorder. Caffeine makes anxiety worse. I don't know if you know that, but it's just kind of a fact, and it's something that I know. I'm well aware of it, and yet I still drink caffeine because I otherwise am very, very sleepy. And like I said, I had a lot that I needed to get done today, and because I've been so anxious recently, I've been napping a lot. Because when I get really anxious, when I get really overwhelmed, I just like shut down. My brain just kind of shuts down, and I'm like, I am just not going to do all of the things that I know need to get done, and I'm just going to instead sleep because I'm so anxious and so overwhelmed that I need to just sleep. So I've been napping a lot this past week, which is not good because that makes my anxiety worse, because then when I wake up from my nap, I have so much stuff that needs to get done that I should have been doing, but instead I was napping. And so again, it's not helpful, and I know it's not helpful, but the anxiety just makes me so incredibly fatigued, so tired, I just have to sleep. So because I knew I had stuff that I needed to get done today, I had some caffeine to avoid the napping problem so that I wouldn't get tired and nap. And it's working. I don't feel like napping, but it's also making my anxiety worse because caffeine makes anxiety worse. So it's it's kind of a lose-lose situation. If I don't drink caffeine, I'm gonna nap and not get things done. If I do drink caffeine, I'm going to not nap, but I'm just going to be more anxious. And sure, I might get more stuff done, but it's not going to be super pleasant because I'm going to be very anxious. So that sucks. Oh, I should mention that I was getting taken off of a medication. I saw my psychiatrist earlier this year, and she recommended that I stop taking a medication that I'm on that I was put on for anxiety. And I was fine with that because I was convinced that this medication didn't do anything. I was very convinced that I didn't need this medication. And so they've been weaning me off this medication for months at this point. I was on a pretty high dose, so they have to take you off the medication very, very, very slowly. Otherwise, you could go into withdrawal or start withdrawing. And so they've been slowly tapering the dose. And I've hit a point where, like, for most of the time when they were lowering the dose, I was feeling fine, and I didn't notice any difference. But now, suddenly, I'm feeling a lot of anxiety, and so I think I have an appointment with my doctor soon. I'm going to talk to him about this medication and say that I don't think I should be taken off this medication. I think I should stay on it at a lower dose than I was on before, but still, I don't want to stop taking this medication because I actually do think that it was in some way helping with my anxiety. So maybe he's going to recommend the dose gets a little bit higher again. Again, I see my doctor soon, so I'm going to talk to him about the anxiety and the medication and see what he recommends. So, yeah, But the thing I really wanted to talk about in this video, the thing that has been causing me the most anxiety, and again, this is going to sound really mundane, it's going to sound really maybe kind of stupid that I'm getting so anxious and so worked up about this, but basically there's maintenance that needs to be done in my apartment. My sink is leaking, and it's not a terrible leak, but it is leaking, and I'm really anxious about it because, first of all, I know that the leak is not going to get better on its own. It's only ever going to get worse. And like I said, it's not terrible right now, but it could definitely get worse, and so I'm very anxious about that. But I'm also anxious because I know that in this particular building, maintenance requests oftentimes take a long time to get done. Like, I have this neighbor whose sink was clogged, and she went legitimately months without a bathroom sink because it was clogged, and it just took them so long to fix it. And, you know, she took it like a champ. She was very patient with the management, and she handled it a lot better than I would have handled it. If my sink was clogged for months, I think I would have been like calling management a whole bunch and like emailing them a ton and probably complaining about it on the internet a bunch. But, you know, she again seemed to handle it very, very well. But she is not me. I am not her. I am a very, very anxious guy. And when I get anxious, it makes me want to do something about the anxiety. And it really bothers me that there's nothing I really can do. The sink is going to get fixed when they decide to fix it. And I can't make it happen any faster. I can try to, call management. I can try emailing them. I can try pestering them, bothering them, but I don't want to be a bother. I don't want to be that guy who's just like going up to my superintendent every day and like, so when are you going to fix my sink? When are you going to fix my sink? When are you going to fix my sink? Like, I don't want to be that guy. You know what I mean? I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to be a nuisance. I don't want the people who work for this building to hate me. But again, I get so much anxiety when there's stuff in my apartment that needs to get fixed because it's just like, I don't know when it's going to happen. And like the worst part is I don't know if it's even ever going to happen. Like, there was a leak in my bathroom, and like the part of the toilet that connects to the wall, like that drips sometimes when I flush the toilet. And like, I talked to my landlord or my superintendent about it, and he said that it would be a real pain in the butt to fix, essentially. And I said, well, are you going to fix it? And he said, I'll talk to management. And then I haven't heard back from him. And that was months and months and months and months ago. It was a long time ago. And the thing still leaks. I have a bowl underneath it, so it drips into the bowl. It's not just dripping onto the ground, and it only drips a little bit sometimes when I flush the toilet. But it's one of those things where it's like, that's literally never going to get done. I know for a fact that the superintendent is never going to fix that. It's just never going to get fixed. So I just have to live with a bowl that's going to catch the leak and hope that the leak doesn't get any worse. But the leak in my kitchen sink is like worse because there's I feel like I'm just going to wake up one morning and my entire kitchen my entire counter is just going to be like covered in water. Like, the leak isn't that bad, but again, it's only ever going to get worse. And so, like, I don't know what to do about it. Like, the faucet is leaking. And when I say the faucet is leaking, I don't mean the faucet drips, because the faucet does drip, but that's not what I'm talking about here. The faucet, like, there's the part of the faucet that connects to the sink. That part of the faucet is leaking. When I run the water, that part of the faucet leaks. And so it's not leaking into the sink. If it was leaking into the sink, then it'd be fine because the water will just go down the drain. But it's not. It's leaking onto my counter. And so like I don't know what to do about it. I called the landlord or the superintendent came to look at it, and he tightened it and said it was fine, and it's still leaking. So I emailed him, I put in a new maintenance request, and I haven't heard anything back. And so I just like, is he gonna come fix it? Like, the thing about my superintendent is that he's sometimes very dismissive. Like I said with the drip in my bathroom, he was like, I'll see if I can fix it. But then like he's like obviously he's not putting any effort into actually fixing it. You know what I mean? Or like one time recently, earlier this year, my sink was clogged, and he came and he like half-assedly tried to plunge the sink, which worked a little bit actually, just with a plunger. Like he didn't even snake the drain, he just plunged it with a plunger, and like that did work a little bit, but like that's not the proper way to deal with a clogged drain. The proper thing to do is to snake it. So like he's very dismissive. He doesn't like he plunged it and said it's fine, and I was like, I don't know if it's fine. He's like, it's fine, and so like that's it. Just, I don't know. I don't want to. I know I said in a previous video that I wouldn't talk about people in my real life on the internet anymore, and so I'm sorry that I'm sitting here shit talking my superintendent. He's a great guy. I love my superintendent. He's great. Like, he's great, but he doesn't always get things done, and like he's not a plumber, so I don't know if he really knows what he's doing. Like I said, my neighbor's sink was clogged, and it took him months, and he had to bring in outside help to fix it. Like he was in over his head. He didn't know what to do because the sink was just like really, really clogged, and they ended up having to replace a portion of the pipe, and so like with the leaky faucet, I don't think he knows what to do. He tried tightening it, and that's the limit of his knowledge. He's not a plumber, so he's gonna have to call in outside help in order to fix the sink. And I don't know if he's ever gonna do that. I don't know if he's ever gonna get around to doing that. Like it's just, I don't know. I say too much, but anyways. I guess that's all. Making this video really didn't help with my anxiety. In fact, I feel like it may have made it worse because talking about it out loud is making me more anxious about it for some reason. I really thought talking about it would help, but I guess not. Anyways, that's all. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Stay frosty. Bye.